egg.
With the SPX dangling onto the 100-day SMA for the first time since October of last year, and the DXY initiating a backdoor surprise on crypto holders everywhere, is Bitcoin in danger of completing a dumpy downside move to all the way down here? And with a potential shutdown looming and biggest stock market crash in history, says Ricky Krusty Socks, will a long overdue FOMO rally save the day? Or will crypto holders be left crying in the corner like a woman who waited until marriage to make love only to find out that her new husband has no idea what he's doing? Your host, Patrick Prostate Exam, and like a doctor, I'm going to reach my fingers deep into the charts and bring you the good, the bad, and the downright disgusting, because there is so many things going on in this macro environment. My goodness gracious, we've got to just dump on in. Make sure to like, subscribe, turn these absolutely time-sensitive alerts, and as well, if you're interested in joining our pool, we had like 400% luck in the last epic, and yeah, the pool's growing along nicely. Keep in mind, it does take at least like 2 weeks if you're new to really start receiving those rewards, but yeah, absolutely very big. Literally no downside. You earn ADA while supporting the network, and you can pull it out whenever you want. And if there's one thing that I know about my viewers, it's that we absolutely love to pull out. Wow, so much to get into. So as you may have noticed, I've been gone for the past, I think, like 5 days. I just went on a quick little beach trip, and I was actually planning on making a little bit of a video, but nothing really happened, so I had nothing to talk about. But guys, this is absolutely very big. So with a looming shutdown, okay, before we really dump into this, okay, this is always a big fear thing that usually gets resolved pretty quickly anyway. They can just raise the debt ceiling whenever they want. But Robert Kiyosaki here has warned of the biggest stock market crash in history for the 500th time. So he's been doing this for a while. And again, this isn't anything to spread a lot of fear. However, guys, the macro environment is absolutely shaping up. And the videos that I posted all last week before I took like a 5-day break were all basically saying the same thing. Like, we need to be very vigilant here. We need to be looking at things outside of crypto, and that's what we're going to start off doing here. So there is fears over a looming twin fiscal disaster here that could spark a giant stock market crash. Rich Dad Poor Dad author Robert Kiyosaki telling his almost 2 million followers to get gold, silver, Bitcoin, and Ethereum before the biggest crash in history. So a giant stock market crash coming in October, he said. Why? Because the Treasury and the Fed short of T-bills. He said he is not planning on selling gold, silver, Bitcoin, or Ethereum, but he warned that he also thinks they will crash and pointed to China's current real estate problem here as potentially exacerbating the market volatility. And that's just the thing. Even if this whole property issue in China would be absolutely resolved, which it has not been yet, okay? I think a lot of people are confused about that. It has not been resolved completely, okay? There are temporary band-aids that have been put on the situation, but that is absolutely all they are. Temporary band-aids. Even if they would be totally solved, there are still a plethora of issues that we need to be aware of outside of crypto, because crypto does not exist in a vacuum. And it blows my mind that so many people that tweet crypto stuff and make crypto videos don't even care about anything else. We have to pay attention to everything. And that is why we're going to be looking at some of these charts in just a few minutes here, because it's very, very important what is happening. So there's not been a lot of optimism in the U.S. markets recently as a deadline approaches for the U.S. government's almost $30 trillion debt ceiling, $30 trillion debt ceiling, which is again threatened with a breach unless legislators can agree to raise the limit. So this is absolutely very big. And the China crackdown is big as well. Obviously, they've banned crypto a million times, but this seems to be the big ban. Okay, I'm sure we'll end up saying that not too far in the future again, because they'll probably backtrack. But this is important as, China is probably going to launch its own government coin, crypto coin. And if the U.S. does the same, this is exactly what Ray Dalio said last month about the government trying to kill Bitcoin. They will try to kill it if it becomes too successful. And is that what we're seeing right now, right? They are fighting crypto right now. This is the battle we're about to enter here. And as well, Bobby Lee from SNL also saying about Bitcoin topping at about 200K. That is basically, I only agree with that if we can avoid some very broad macro factors here around the world. And basically we get like a Bitcoin ETF approval, a real one, not based on futures. Yeah, if a lot goes our way, then I could say yes, 200 I think is a very likely blow off top scenario this cycle if a lot of things go right. So he's saying it doesn't even matter. He's basically saying he thinks he'll see that regardless because we have not had a big FOMO rally, aka we haven't really had a blow off top, which we have not. But that FOMO is exactly what creates a blow off top that we have not seen yet. And as well, obviously September has been known as a very dumpy month. October, November, and December have been some of the most bullish months for crypto in history. And so these are two massive things we need to pay attention to though. So September 30th, a scheduled vote by the U.S. Congress on the infrastructure bill, which is going to be huge. So tomorrow. And then pretty much the day after, October 1st, $3 billion in options expiry immediately after we get this monthly candle open for Bitcoin. So the next 48 hours are absolutely wild for Bitcoin. And I'm not even saying price action wise. I'm talking about two fundamentally huge things that will be affecting the crypto markets 100% in the next 48 hours, namely the infrastructure bill vote, and then also a pretty big options expiry here. And as we said, obviously Bitcoin is on track to close pretty negatively. September was expected to be pretty bad, but what's important here is that the start of the month, a lot of things did happen this entire month. So the SEC attempted to stop the NASDAQ listed crypto exchange Coinbase from launching its lending program offering 4% annualized yields, which it did. As well, SEC Chairman Gary Gensler doubled down, calling for crypto regulation, calling stablecoins poker chips, and as well, China deciding to declare all crypto-related business illegal. Okay, so all of those things happened this month. Okay, this month was expected to be bad, and then we have all of these actual things that happened that also made it bad. But with that being said, so far we have held 40,000. We did dip a little bit below it, and we're going to be getting that in a second here. But yeah, historically, Bitcoin has charted the biggest quarterly gains in October to December. So if we're going to get optimistic based on past price action for Bitcoin, this next coming quarter, these next 3 months are good. Okay, we knew September was not a historically good month, and it turned out to be a not good month. But now we know historically these next 3 months have been insane for Bitcoin. You can see here, I mean, in the past, some of the biggest gains we've seen, in fact, the biggest gains we've seen have come in the last quarter of years. But again, we have to focus on how the U.S. debt ceiling unfolds. Congress needs to raise or suspend this debt ceiling, or the government won't have the cash to pay all of its obligations. And as well, a spot ETF is approaching. Van Eck will receive the final verdict in about a month and a half in the middle of November. And that's really important here as well. We expect we will see action in the market running up towards these dates, said Arcane Research here. And then also a futures-based ETF will receive their response as well. Obviously, we want a spot-based ETF more than anything. So very big. Now, in terms of Bitcoin's price, obviously it has not been looking great. Last time I posted a video, Bitcoin price was right about here at about 44,000. Now we're at 41.5. And as you can see, really not too much has happened in the last 5 days. However, one thing that we have seen is that, if this is a speculative falling wedge, which it typically does break to the upside, this doesn't look very good. And actually on some of these smaller time frames, you can see there's a potential descending triangle with a target all the way down to about like 35 to 36,000 US dollars. Keep in mind, that would invalidate a lot of the Twitter people's on-chain analysts' bottom. Okay, a lot of them are saying like 38, 39. It will never go below that again. If we actually got a full breakdown of this, it absolutely would. But most importantly here, what we've been doing is holding the most important local horizontal support, resistance turn support, right at about 40,000. It is massive. Okay, so many tests. You can see all of these lines lining up right at 40,000. It's a giant psychological level. It's a giant fettuccine level of support. It is right where the 21 weekly and the 50 weekly are kind of just coming into contact right here. There are about 5 or 6 reasons why this level is so important. And as you can see right now, we're actually just testing right on the 21 week moving average. So big things we have to hold here. Otherwise, we can get bearish very, very fast. And like I've been saying, it's very likely, I think the only way that we can get bearish here is if the macro environment and coming regulation in the US and all of it turns sour very quickly. DXY obviously pumping. So we need to watch that. New all-time, it's the highest we've been since about a year ago, back at the very beginning of November last year. Okay, so DXY looking stronger, and the SPX is holding right on the 100-day moving average. And the last time that we even tested this was back here about a year ago in October of last year. So if the SPX starts plummeting here, and it does not look good, in fact, we have a bearish cross with the 21 going below the 50, potentially just moments away, just a few days away. We need to watch the macro environment, because if these things start getting worse, it will be very, very difficult for Bitcoin to do well. Absolutely time-sensitive alerts. As well, if you're interested in earning ADA with our pool, make sure we only have a 2% margin, which means less rewards for the SPO, more for you. Average APY is around 5%. We had really crazy luck in the last epic. And then this next one should be pretty good as well, as it's still a fairly new pool. It's not even 3 weeks old. So yeah, looking very good. But after that, it should be rewards every 5 days. Without any further ado, that's it for me. Bye bye.